Hello, my fellow movie geeks. I thought I would try something a little bit different today. There were some, little topics that I wanted to cover and talk about, so I thought I'd put a little compilation in there. Some are going to be sad and some are going to be a little exciting and some are going to be like, is this actually happening? And then there's also a meh, how do we actually feel about this? It's going to be a little bit of everything. So I thought I would do it this way, off the cuff, raw dogging it. Sometimes we don't always need lube. But anyway, uh, I don't know where that came from. But let's start off with good old the Buffy subject because it's the elephant in the room. I am a Buffy fan, and I think at one point we were all gonna wonder, what does Carrie think about this? Or maybe you weren't thinking that, but it's okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to get into the deets and we'll see how I feel about it. So Hulu has officially canceled the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, titled Buffy, New Sunnydale, as confirmed by our Sarah Michelle Gellar. The planned reboot, which was first announced in February 2025, was intended to continue the story of the original 97 to '03 series, while introducing a new Slayer named Nova, played by Ryan Kiera Armstrong, with Sarah Michelle Gellar reprising her iconic role as Buffy Summers in a recurring capacity and serving as an executive producer. The pilot was directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Chloe Zhao, with a script by Nora and Leela Zuckerman. Hopefully I said her name correctly. Sarah Michelle Gellar shared the news on Instagram, sharing this photo right here, expressing her disappointment and gratitude to Zhao and the fans. She emphasized that she wanted fans to hear the news directly from her, which I respect on all cylinders because I would only want to hear it from her. Just saying, and reassured them with a nod to one of Buffy's memorable lines, which I absolutely love. If the apocalypse actually comes, you can still beep me. Sarah, oh, my girl, my girl. Although the pilot had been filmed and the project had a reported release window for 2027, Hulu decided not to move forward with the series. Specific reasons for the cancellation have not been officially disclosed, though there is speculation that Hulu may have been dissatisfied with the pilot or its approach to the franchise. Now, side note, I have had a friend that actually did a reading of the pilot, like a little bit of the script, and let me tell you, the dialogue was actually really cringe. Not like in a good way cringe, more like just cringe cringe. So I can kind of see why Hulu would be like, do we really want this? Because this could actually hinder the perception of Buffy rather than actually improving it or making new fans or you know what I mean? Like I don't know. After hearing some of the script from the pilot, I don't think I would have wanted to see it, but that's just me. Despite this, sources indicate that Hulu may still consider future iterations of the Buffy franchise. The reboot had been the latest in a series of attempts to revive the Buffy franchise, including earlier efforts in the 2010s and 2018, none of which progressed to production. Fans of the original series can still stream all 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Hulu, keeping the legacy of the show alive while the future of any new Buffy projects remains uncertain. Now, what is my what are my thoughts on this? Well, me personally, I kind of wish they would leave it alone. Thinking about thinking back on those feelings of when I would get so excited in the morning watching Buffy, like before school. I loved those moments. I loved those feelings, and I don't know if they can ever recapture that. I'm sorry, but there's just a magic about this franchise that I don't think can be ever touched again. And I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. She will always be one of my favorite actresses of all time. Like, let's be honest. She is incredible. No matter what she does, she nails it. She is just iconic in my eyes. But do I think we need a continuation of the series? No. It ended on a beautiful note. It was very sad. I mean, it was very sad. Every single time I watch, because I've watched Buffy a million times. Let's be honest. I've seen it so many times. I can pretty much, quote. I can say the lines whenever they're saying them. So, yeah, I've seen Buffy quite a few times. And I have to say, my love for it tells me that they need to leave it alone. There's a reason why Hulu didn't want this show to be picked up. And after hearing some of the script, after hearing the dialogue, as much as I'd love to say Joss Whedon is a total douche noggler, he's an asshat, he's a total pig, but his writing was incredible. I'm gonna give him that. The writing, the dialogue, it was untouched. Like it was incredible. It was amazing. No one can do that ever again. I'm sorry. So knowing that and knowing the circumstances, knowing that there are now unfortunate actors that have now passed, Michelle Trachtenberg, I cannot believe that we lost that poor girl. And we will be talking about Nicholas Brendon next. But whew, give me a sec for that one. Whew, yeah, I had to take a breath on that one. Knowing that we have lost some amazing actors that have played in the series, we need to leave it alone. That's what I think. If there's any way that they could maybe, if they wanted to, they could make like a spin-off, but I think we need to leave Buffy the Vampire Slayer alone. That is just my opinion. I I do wonder how Sarah Michelle Gellar did Buffy in this series, but I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to. I know she could nail it, but it's just everything else I'm afraid of. So that's why I'm actually not that bummed that Hulu didn't pick it up, because that just tells me that they felt like this did not do the series justice. And I'm going to back them for that. So we'll leave that where it is. So next, I would love to take a moment. This is going to be hard, but I feel like it is a must. Speaking of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and speaking of actors that have passed, we need to talk about Nicholas Brendon. Oh, upon hearing the news of him passing, I can't tell you how shocking that was. I can't believe he passed away. He was only 54. That's still very young. I just I can't believe that he passed. It took a while for me to even for it to sink in. I just immediately I popped on Buffy and I was thinking about my favorite episodes with him in it, and I immediately thought of the Snoopy dance, and I immediately thought of the yellow crayon. Oh, the yellow crayon. Okay, yeah, we'll leave that because that's it's this character is just incredible. But I just wanted to share this post because I thought it was beautiful. Nicholas is with his family and they shared something on his Instagram. They released a heartbreaking tribute following his passing on Friday. We are heartbroken to share the passing of our brother and son, Nicholas Brendon. He passed in his sleep of natural causes, they said in a statement shared on his account on Friday. Four of Nicholas's family members were seen posing with him in the photo here on the left. His family praised him for his passion for art and his enthusiastic talent as they shared photos of him acting as well as some of his paintings. Now, I would love to see some of his paintings, so if I find any, I will post them on my community post. Most people know Nicky for his work as an actor and for the characters he brought to life over the years. And Xander is an incredible character. It's a side note. I always believed that Xander was one of my favorite characters, and he forever will be one of my favorite characters of anything. I loved how supportive he was of Buffy. I loved how, yes, he had a crush on her, but he was respectful. Despite all of that, he was respectful. Think about the Valentine's episode. He could have had his way with her, but he chose to be a gentleman, and that forever had my respect. Was he perfect? No, but that's what I loved about him. In recent years, Nicky has found his passion in painting and art. It continued. Nicky loved to share his enthusiastic talent with his family, friends, and fans. His family praised him for his passion for art and his enthusiastic talent, and yeah, they've already showed that. His family described the multi-hyphenate, I hope I'm saying that word correctly, artist as passionate, sensitive, and endlessly driven to create. Those who truly knew him understood that his art was one of the purest reflections of who he was. Our family asked for privacy during this time, which we all should, as they grieve his loss and celebrate his life of a man who lived with intensity, imagination, and heart. Thank you to everyone who has shown love and support. The statement shared by the late actor's family was edited, but an earlier version published just hours earlier suggested that Nicholas was going through treatment for an unspecified diagnosis at the time of his death. So there probably was an underlying issue that caused him to pass in his sleep. But they're not going to disclose that just yet. And that's, hey, respect. We have to leave it at that. But rest in peace, Nicholas Brendon. You get to be with Michelle Trachtenberg, and I hope you know how loved you are. So, on the next note, we are going to talk about, I don't know how you talk about something else after that, but we have a fall sequel. Now, I feel like a lot of people don't really they don't care too much about this movie, but you know what? I hold it near and dear. I actually genuinely enjoy this movie. So I'm actually excited about a sequel because I want to see where they take it. So Fall 2 is an upcoming survival thriller to the 2022 film Fall, featuring new challenges and a fresh cast set to release in early 2026. So, Lionsgate has officially greenlit Fall 2, following the success of the original film, which became a sleeper hit on Netflix. I don't find it as a sleeper hit, but that's just me. I absolutely love this movie, and it gives me so much anxiety. But the sequel was first announced in early 2023 and has since progressed into active development. So this one's taking a while. It's fine. I'll wait. The sequel will be directed by Peter and Michael Spierig, known for their work on films like Jigsaw and Predestination. Jigsaw scares me, not gonna lie, because I wasn't too crazy about Jigsaw, but hey, you know what? Let's hope for the best here. Let's hope. So, the synopsis for this is the story follows Jax, who is mourning the death of her sister, Shiloh. To honor her sister's memory, Jax and her sister's friend, Lucy, attempt a daring plank walk at Mount Kwan Inn in Thailand. However, a sudden rock slide leaves them stranded over 3,000 feet in the air, forcing Jax to confront her fears and fight for survival. Ooh, the only thing is, why does it always have to be mourning the passing of someone? It seems to be a theme for this, but you know what? We'll roll with it. The sequel will introduce new leads, including Harriet Slater, Arsima Thomas, and Tom Brittney. And it also will be reprising the roles of Grace Caroline Curry and Virginia Gardner. Now, I have visuals, don't you worry. This is Harriet Slater, Ursula Thomas, and Tom Brittney. They're some pretty people, aren't they? So let's see where they take this. I love Harriet's red hair, and Ursula is absolutely gorgeous. And Mr. Tom Brittney over here, looking all rugged and handsome. And then we have the reprising roles of Virginia Gardner and Caroline Grace Curry. Did I say it right or did I flip it again? Grace Caroline Curry. There we go. I flipped it. I'm such a genius. But yes, I love them. So I'm curious to see, is there going to be flashbacks or what? How are they reprising their roles? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. On to the next, shall we? I don't know if this is real. I keep hearing about a sequel to Shallows 2, and I'm like, I don't know about this. But apparently, the sequel to The Shallows, titled The Shallows 2, is set to be released in summer 2026. While there is speculation about the involvement of Blake Lively, there has been no official confirmation regarding her return. Now, I haven't heard a damn thing about this, so I don't even know if it's actually going to be releasing in 2026 of this summer. I haven't heard anything. But supposedly, it is supposed to be, it's supposed to promise nerve-wracking, what does it say? A nerve-wracking sequel that plunges audiences back into the heart of the ocean's deepest depths. Picking up after terrifying events of the first film, this highly anticipated sequel once again centers on the relentless battle for survival against a deadly shark, but this time the stakes are even higher. The story follows a new set of characters. Adriana, the new lead, a marine biologist who embarks on a solo research trip to a remote coastal area known for its dangerous waters. We'll see if this actually picks up. We'll see if it actually goes anywhere. I don't know, it's probably just going to be another schlocky shark film, but hey, I will watch it nonetheless. So, my last thing on whatever I'm doing here, I'm talking about whatever I want, I guess. I thought I would bring up The Exorcist. I mean, look at this poster. It clearly looks like Scarlett Johansson in just heavy makeup. This scares me, okay? But I didn't even read what it's about, so I guess we're gonna do this shit together. The Exorcist is an upcoming American supernatural horror film written and directed by Mike Flanagan. The film is part of the Exorcist franchise and the seventh installment overall. Oh boy. Ugh. Jason Blum will serve as a producer on the film through the Blumhouse Productions banner alongside Atomic Monster. We know who does Atomic Monster, so this could be interesting. But anyway, David Robinson through his Morgan Creek Entertainment banner, that could be interesting, and Flanagan through his Red Room Pictures banner. It stars Scarlett Johansson, this could be interesting, Diane Lane, love her, Lawrence Fishburne, love him. I don't know who Sasha Callie is, John Leguizamo, think I know who he is. I probably have to see a picture. Uh, Carla Gugino. Love her. Prior to the project's announcement, a sequel was planned for The Exorcist Believer, entitled The Exorcist Deceive. Really? Believer, Deceiver, Believer, Deceive. Really? Anyway, we'll get off of that. With David Gordon Green originally set to return as director, but left the project following the critical and box office disappointment of Believer. Huh, wonder why. In May 2024, Deceiver and its sequel were officially canceled when the new film was announced. The Exorcist is scheduled to release on March 12th, 2027. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not expecting much. But anyway, I think I'm done talking. I hope something in here excites you guys. I hope something in here interests you. So for now, I'm going to say this is Carey Craves Cinema. Stay geeky for movies, my friend.